A dead MI6 agent, microchips, icy boats, Bond chased on skis, Beluga caviar and vodka shaken, all in the pre-title sequence of A View to a Kill. Hi, this is Dan Silvestri,
Tom Pizzato,
and Vicky Hodges
of SpyMovieNavigator.com and our show, Cracking the Code of Spy Movies. Today, we slip across the ice and snow in A View to a Kill. All right, after a gun barrel sequence, the gun barrel circle opens up onto a helicopter flying across frozen ice and snow. We see a bunch of skiers as the camera pans back, and then one skier in particular, dressed in a white parka, and he's moving snow aside with his hand, with some type of device in his hand that's beeping, like maybe a homing device. Okay, so now we're immediately intrigued. I like this, because now we're wondering what's going on, right? Who is this, and what's he digging for in this ice and snow?
So, and I love the fact that we've got another Bond movie with skiing, because I really like it when Bond's skiing.
Yeah.
And we know that Willie Bogner is behind the camera, so it's going to be filmed well. Mm-hmm. He was the cameraman who also did On Her Majesty's Secret Service,
Fantastic.
The Spy Who Loved Me, and For Your Eyes Only. I mean, he knows how to shoot these ski sequences, and this was the last movie he did before he took over his father's sportswear company called Bogner.
Yeah. Boy, what a switch that is, huh? Go take over a sportswear company. Anyway,
well, his dad and his mom was one of the designers at Bogner, so I mean, they'd been doing that for a lot of years before he started working for them and did side work with the Bond stuff.
All right, so now we're more intrigued as we see military personnel on skis and the helicopter radioing perhaps the position of our white parked man. A snowmobile and military personnel on skis with rifles seem to be closing in on Bond. James Bond, of course, as we see a close-up of our white parked friend. It's Roger Moore in his 7th and final outing as James Bond. All right, at least in this skiing snow chase scene, he's wearing white, which might help him camouflage himself on the snow as he skis. Unlike The Spy Who Loved Me, where he's wearing this bright yellow outfit with a red backpack. All right, progress here, I think. Q's idea? I don't know. It's just, I like that he's wearing white.
Yeah, and all I know that it works. This white parka is a better colour for trying to blend in.
Yeah.
We've seen white uniforms used for over a century in military operations in the snow. Yeah. So Bond's parka here makes sense.
Absolutely.
And besides, I'm transported to Return of the Jedi in 1983 in this sequence. Do you think that Eon is getting that helping of Jedi pie again by taking on the snow idea and the Parker-style outfit?
Not a bad thing to latch onto.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I would say about this Parka-style outfit, there's a logo on the parkas, and guess what logo it is? Bogner.
Bogner.
Well, I just mentioned Willie Bogner and his family a second ago.
Coincidence.
Yeah, they always say Bond movies are a family business. So.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
So, meanwhile, the military pursuers are on skis, and we now see a snowmobile vehicle with military personnel on it as well.
Yep.
Bond is in big trouble and might get killed in this pre-title.
Oh, no, not again.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
No.
I'm pretty convinced of it.
Well, hang on. He dies later in a movie many years from now.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to
so never mind. We can relax. He'll get out of this. He's Bond. Well, that's what we used to say, at least.
Yeah, right.
Clearly, Bond finds the body of another MI6 agent.
Wait, how do you know it's another MI6 agent? I mean, he doesn't have like a badge that says MI6. How do you know this is MI6?
Yeah, he's got a beep. He's got a homing device that Bond can read. So you got to assume they're connected.
We make the assumption, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also the parka is the same Bogner parka that Bond is wearing. So.
So he retrieves something from the dead man's inner zipped pocket, a heart-shaped locket that Bond opens and dumps in the palm of his hand, a photo and a square electronic chip, it looks like. Obviously, the military pursuers seem to be looking for the same thing. MI6 homing beacon leads Bond to this fallen fellow agent, and wanting to make sure he has what he's come for, he takes a moment to look at it. Meantime, the enemy is approaching, and he fires an automatic rifle at Bond and bam, just hits the snow. I mean, there's a lot of snow around, right? Yeah.
Much easier to hit the snow than to hit Bond.
Another henchman missing.
All right, so now what? Perhaps another chase on snow skis? We love the one in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, 1969, and in The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977. So maybe we'll like this one in 1985.
Again, filmed by Willy Bogner.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Good.
It starts great as Bond leaps into a crevice below to escape, and the pursuit begins. What will we see here? Another Union Jack? Ski pole projectile weapon? No. Something new, I think. But lots of bad shooting we do see by his pursuers once again. That's a staple, and now the helicopter is chasing and firing at Bond, a la From Russia with Love and The Spy Who Loved Me when Naomi was chasing him. In all the explosions and falls, Bond loses a ski. Yeah. Okay, so now, Vicky, we should be worried because Bond lost a ski. He can't ski on one ski, I'm sure. He will never get out of this one alive.
But wait a second. He does ski pretty well, even on one ski here. And I'd say better than his pursuers who had two.
Yeah, he's so damn good.
And then somehow he catches up to the snowmobile from behind.
Yeah,
I don't know how that
was
happened.
good.
And he had just removed this grappling hook from his backpack. He attaches it to the strap across the snowmobile driver's back, steps aside a bit while still moving. I'm not exactly sure how that worked.
Yeah, that's a tough move.
The driver goes flying off the back of the snowmobile. Bond jumps on, and he's now driving the snowmobile as the original driver's hanging off of a cliff.
Yeah.
I mean, Bond is just amazing here.
He is
and
amazing.
I love how he kicks off his ski to race off. It looked to me like he's
traveling
trying
at the same speed as a snowmobile to catch it. And then when the guy flies off of it, he still has to maintain his speed to jump on it. He's amazing. The guy's amazing.
Bond is good.
Yeah.
And then he has to kick that ski off like he's riding a horse or something.
Yeah. No, he looked good kicking the ski off. He looked like, wow, I'm in control here. All right.
But wait, what about the helicopter? Don't forget the helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it sees Bond and starts pursuing again. But where was it in the meantime?
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, where was it?
Why wasn't it shooting at him then? Yeah, that's a good question, Vicky.
And I would think that's an important piece of information. Where'd the helicopter go? And we never find out.
Anyway, this time the Gatling gun that the helicopter is firing finds its mark.
Yeah.
No, not at Bond, but at the snowmobile itself. And Bond, knowing that the snowmobile has been hit and that it might explode, leaps off into the snow. And wow, he was right. It does explode.
Amazing.
Go figure. With these pieces of it flying through the air, some of which stick in the snow right behind Bond. Lucky he didn't get hit.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
it's so fortunate.
Fortunate.
And it was convenient, I thought, that the main piece that flew off and landed next to Bond is one of the blades on the snowmobile, which Bond quickly converts into a snowboard and starts snowboarding, knocking over armed soldiers and all this other stuff as he continues his swishing down the mountain on his repurposed snowmobile blade. That is now his snowboard, which, that's MacGyver-like. I mean, that's just instant stuff. That's really good. Now,
and it just fell out of the sky to him.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this is convenient. And everything fit perfectly. Now, snowboards were actually invented most likely in 1965-ish in Muskegon, Michigan. But some say A View to a Kill helped make it more popular. So this was a pretty popular stunt at the time.
Well, Bond is always a step ahead in the technology stakes and also picking up on the popularity of pop culture with new crazes. So look at the free runner in Casino Royale in 2006, Sebastian Foucan.
Yes.
He was the founder of that craze for free running back in 2003.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
And now, Dan, you made the comment that snowboards are credited to that guy in Michigan in 65. And I've read that too. But kind of interesting is that this guy, Tom Sims, he was a skateboarder who created something called a ski board in 1962, which sounds very much like a snowboard. And Tom Sims was Roger Moore's stunt double doing the snowboarding here in A View to a Kill.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. See, we always say in these episodes that whoever's listening, you're gonna discover something new that maybe you didn't hear before, and that's a good one right there. That's a good one. All right. So now, remarkably, he has tremendous skill with this device. We do get a leap over a ridge, but maybe it's only 15 feet, but it's not exactly the 2,000-foot leap in The Spy Who Loved Me, but for a split second, we don't know. We don't know that. So anyway, now, during this part of the pursuit, the California Girls song that was written by the Beach Boys and performed here by a tribute band called Gidea Park is playing in the background.
Now, that's a good trivia question, because I've been to a bunch of trivia contests where Gidea Park is an answer.
Yeah.
Who was the band who sang California Girls in A View to a Kill?
So I'm listening to this thinking, what? In the pre-title, you really cannot understand why it's there, because you're thinking he's getting shot at. He's trying to escape. And this kind of fluffy little fun song, California Girls, is playing. I'm not going to sing it.
Thank you.
But obviously it's a nod to California's Silicon Valley, which will be the subject of most of the movie and the mission. So, okay.
You know, Dan, the way you're kind of talking here about it, this is another one of those things in Bond movies that some people complain about. You've got the Tarzan yell,
yeah.
You've got the slide whistle.
Yeah.
I think this song works really well here. First, he's on a snowboard, which makes you think of surfing. And a lot of people hadn't seen snowboards. It hadn't been in the Olympics yet.
Yep.
So a lot of people didn't know about that. So he's surfing on snow. And as you mentioned, you know, a main part of this movie is about California.
Yep.
And so I think it's a great tie-in, and I think people who don't like it here need to rethink that.
Hey, you know, look, it's Beach Boys, and I love all of the Beach Boys music. It's just fun stuff. Every one of their songs is just fun. But Bond is in a serious situation here. Not a light moment, but I'm okay with it because it does tie in with the Silicon Valley issue, which is the meat of the movie.
Okay, let's move on. So, Bond skis off another hill and into icy water. But his snowboard now performs like a water ski, and he glides across the water and back onto the snow as his pursuers on regular skis splash into the water, ending their pursuit.
Yeah.
Didums.
That's amazing.
They needed snowboards, obviously.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love the fact he just goes zipping across the water and they go splash.
Yeah. Hey, that thing turned out to be a good device.
But Bond is safe. Oh, no, wait, the helicopter. Right, we're forgetting the helicopter. And apparently the helicopter pilot and crew keep forgetting about a persistent pursuit of Bond. They just occasionally remember, oh, yes, well, we've got to get him. Okay. So they pursue Bond. Yeah. Now one leans out of the helicopter firing an automatic rifle at Bond and missing, yes.
Yeah.
But Bond, ever notice that a few seconds after the guy is firing the helicopter, we hear and see the bullets impacting the snow near Bond? Slow rounds of ammunition, I guess.
I mean, the velocity of those bullets have got to be super slow motion. I don't know.
Come on, we know continuity has never been a strength in a James Bond movie.
That's true.
Don't expect it here.
Yeah. All right, so now Bond pulls out some kind of flare gun or rocket gun or smoke grenade gun or something, and he fires at the helicopter. And yes, wow, one shot right into the helicopter cockpit, and the pilot cannot see what's going on as orange smoke is billowing out everywhere. And bam, the helicopter, like in From Russia with Love, crashes, but this time into the side of a mountain. And yes, it explodes gloriously, but it explodes.
Yeah, don't go back and watch that like frame by frame, because it looks good at real speed. Yeah. But if you break that up, it's like, I needed a little more editing.
Yeah.
And now this is also another one of those many things we've seen reused from Bond movies that were brought into A View to Kill.
So Bond's been eluding these pursuers, and there's a lot of pursuers, and only one Bond. But there's a lot of pursuers shooting at him and everything. But he's been eluding them for a long time, like 4.5 minutes, I think, in the pre-title sequence, which well, that's pretty long.
Oh, if this podcast were only 4.5 minutes.
That's what many are saying now. And we're sure he has no idea exactly where he is because he's been eluding these guys for 4.5 minutes, up and down crevices, all over the place. I mean, he's got to be lost. So, is he? And he skis across the water, like you said, Vicky. And wow, what the heck? Out of all of this skiing, turning left and right, up and down, everywhere he's going, in the distance, he sees a circle with a Union Jack on it.
Well, it kind of pops up.
Yeah. What? He's in the right place at the right time with all of this stuff happening? That is amazing. I think that's the most amazing part of this entire movie.
Well, now, did that thing with the Union Jack move to where he was?
That would be rough.
We don't know.
No, that would be impossible. That would be impossible as we discover what it is. There's no way that's keeping up with Bond. So this is just one of those moments where you go, it's Bond, so, whatever.
A willing suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. Right. All right. So naturally, Bond is going to run towards the Union Jack. If the enemy wanted to trap him, that would be a good thing to do, I think. You put a Union Jack up, there goes Bond. You got him. Forget about chasing him down snow and stuff. Anyway, he goes right at the Union Jack, and it looks as though it's coming out of a mound of floating ice, this round Union Jack thing. But another Union Jack in a ski chase scene, a certain callback for sure to The Spy Who Loved Me, obviously, right?
Yep.
So Bond gets...
Now, I do have to say, the Union Jack in The Spy Who Loved Me was much better. The use of it here.
That was optimal usage. That was perfect. So Bond gets to the Union Jack, and it's indeed a hatch, and he enters this thing that looks like floating ice. Wow, what is this? So some skiers are still in pursuit and are just catching up to him, but he's in this device already. And inside, what else? A beautiful woman who turns to him and says,
I thought you'd never get back.
Yeah, now this is the character. She never gets a name in it, but she's credited as Kimberly Jones, played by Mary Staven.
Okay.
And I'm not sure about you, but why did they do her hair up like she was trying to look like Farrah Fawcett?
It's all like
feathered.
Farrah Fawcett.
This is a little after the Farrah Fawcett craze.
I thought the same thing.
And I quite honestly, I'm glad that look is over.
Yeah, Farrah Fawcett always had wrinkly knees too. In all her pictures, she had wrinkly knees. I was like, I didn't like that. Anyway,
I didn't look at her knees then.
You didn't get that far. Now, when you got posters on your bedroom wall, it's easy to look at. No, I'm just kidding, everybody.
Anyway, Tom, Mary Stavin was in Octopussy right before this movie. She played one of Octopussy's girls, and that's how she was credited in that film. This is another example of Eon Productions using the same actors for different supporting roles in different Bond movies. Yeah. We have the same thing with our friend Derek Lyons and Terence Mountain, both of whom we've interviewed for our podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys are great, too. Fun podcast, too. Those guys are
They were fun.
Yeah. All right, so Bond came in this device and is now back. So that part is clear, I think, because she said she thought it never returned. So, okay. Now, Bond says... I thought
you were making some kind of joke with the way you just said that sentence.
Oh, Tom, only Tom. It's a good one, though. All right. And now Bond says...
Well, there was a heck of a crowd on the piste.
Now, I couldn't understand what Bond said there. The word piste was hard to understand.
Well, it's hard to understand because it's not a word you hear all the time.
Yeah. And, of course, a piste is a marked ski run or a path down a mountain for snow skiing, snowboarding, or other mountain sports. So I thought this was a perfect word for Bond to use here, especially since it implies it's a run for sport.
and I agree with you that this was a great word here. Now, what I don't know is if you're a skier, because I'm not a skier, is that a common word?
Yeah, I don't know either.
For a non-skier like me, that was a new one on me too.
Yeah.
Well, what I was just going to say about this word, Bond actually didn't stay on the track, did he? He went off all over the shop, so he didn't really seem to stay. on the beast. He went off down sides mountains and across water and
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
He definitely got off the run.
Yeah. But, the sport part is the fun thing, and of course it's Bond. So Bond's damn good at this sport stuff. All right. So back to the woman. As she's watching the military pursuers on a screen, she says,
So I see. Mission accomplished?
To which Bond responds in a very Bondian way as he pulls items from his backpack.
Best Beluga, vodka, rather shaken, and one microchip.
As he's holding up the locket that he retrieved with the microchip that Vicky was talking about earlier. And she says,
Good. I'll make a signal to M.
Now, an outside shot shows this oddly shaped ice and snow is really a boat motoring away. Ha! Q at its best. I mean, this is a pretty cool device.
Well, see, this makes me groan because why would Q build an iceberg boat? Did he say to M one day, you never know when one of our operatives may need to hide in the icy wasteland? It's just a bonkers thing.
Yeah. I know. Hey, M, I need $1 million to build an ice boat. What?
Yeah, exactly.
In the shape of an iceberg.
Just
Now,
in
the other
case.
thing is with this boat, how was she monitoring what was going on? Because when you looked at that thing, there really didn't appear to be a camera there.
No
Yeah.
periscope? I don't know. There may have been a secret periscope in there. I'm not sure. But again, it's the same kind of thing as The Spy Who Loved Me with the Lotus. How many times you're going to need a submarine car? Just in case. Okay. All right.
Well, that's true.
So Bond, in a line that probably today you would not hear Bond say in a movie, he says to her,
Be a good girl, would you, and put her on automatic?
and
We could do with a couple of glasses.
all right. So he's removing his boots. She dims the lights, and a panel behind Bond rises, showing 3 monitor screens. And she says,
Then the overhead rack.
all right, I'm not going to go with the overhead rack
Good.
joke.
Good. Let me stop you there because I wanted to make a comment to Vicky on this. Because we're gonna move off of that for a second, then you can take it going forward. But if you notice, Vicky, Dan said, "Be a good girl and won't you?" and put her on automatic. Mm-hmm. And if you remember in Octopussy, you had made the comment about he used the expression "fill her up." Right? Another example of a vehicle being referred to in female terms as opposed to male terms.
Male terms, yeah.
So as she's reaching up for the glasses, not far from Bond, he looks her over, not discreetly. And Bond pushes a lever and it thrusts the boat forward, throwing her into his lap on this semicircular seat. And she exclaims,
Oh, Commander Bond.
and he says,
Call me James. It's 5 days to Alaska.
and he takes her in his arms and starts kissing her.
It must not be very far if it's 5 days in that craft.
Yeah, because, it must be 2 miles.
I must admit, this has a similar feel to the pod Bond and Triple X were in at the end of The Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh, yeah.
I had the exact same feeling when watching this.
Yeah.
In the back part of that craft. Now, the cool thing was, I don't know if you noticed it, when he was sitting there, it was a seat. And then when she pushed that throttle in, the seat raised and made it a bed. But it had a very similar feel to that pod. And Spy's production designer was Ken Adam. And I think here, Peter Lamont was giving a little homage to Ken Adam here because it had a very, very similar feel.
Or homage.
Or homage, whichever is correct.
All right, roll the Maurice Binder title sequence. Yeah, it starts off nicely with a woman with glowing fingernails slowly unzipping her tight jacket to reveal the titles. But then we immediately see the cheap laser graphics like we saw in the Octopussy title sequence, the orange 007, the projectiles from guns.
Wow.
Ugh. Did they not learn? Oh, my God. Silhouettes of women skiing on snow skis and boring graphics and, well, everything. Oh my God.
I actually like the trippy, glowy stuff in this sequence. I didn't like the octopusy one, but this one's better, I think. But it's helped with a great Bond song. This is a good Bond song. I wish they'd use a band again going forward.
Yes.
Rather than just an individual singer. If we go forward, who knows?
I think Duran Duran is up for entry into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right now.
I thought they made it in.
Well, I thought they were talking about it today.
I can't remember now.
All right. The song lyrics, "Dance into the fire," plays while a woman is dancing, into the fire. That's clever, I thought. Oh, God.
Hey, they're keeping it consistent. Hey, continuity, Dan.
A View to a Kill plays by Duran Duran. Now the song did well, and I think it was I think this is true, that it was the only Bond song, the only Bond theme song to reach number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, I think up to then at least.
Up to then at least, yeah.
But beyond the song, I say, they do switch from an orange laser, which, this is cool. They did switch from an orange laser light to a white one and then a green one for the gun projectiles later in the title sequence. So, wow. I mean, that was a thrill.
Jeez.
This title sequence has got to be.
And I'm not sure you're quite letting us know your feelings here.
I think it's got to be one of the lamest title sequences of any Bond movie. It's a bore after a decent, not a tremendous, but a really decent pre-title sequence. If we want a barometer or measurement for boring title sequences, in case I haven't made my point yet, this is a great candidate. It establishes a new low for Bond movies.
I'm going to stop you here. I totally disagree with you on this one.
Oh, really?
I think this is a much better title sequence than we had in Octopussy and For Your Eyes Only.
Oh, yeah.
In those pre-title sequence episodes
that
we did, I kind of criticized those. Now, for one, for me, it starts out with this woman unzipping her jacket.
Yeah.
And the 007 logo, it appears to release from a compressed state along with her chest. I think that worked very well. Yeah. And I thought it was very well done. I think it felt contemporary. I love that day glow or fluorescent colors they used. So is this title section as good as in On Her Majesty's Secret Service or even No Time to Die? No, but I thought it was much better than the previous 2 movies. And that said, it was made to cover the title sequence, and the song were made to cover the pre-title sequence, and doesn't have a lot to do with the rest of the movie. Now, the fact that I like the song does help.
Yeah.
Okay, Vicky, what'd you think? You liked it.
I'm in total agreement with Tom. I think it's better than Octopussy and For Your Eyes Only.
Okay.
I like all the trippy neon, because it was all very 80s. All those sort of colours were around.
Yeah.
I remember my sister having some pink fluorescent fingerless gloves, and all that sort of colour, and the oranges were all around at that time, so it fit in with the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Hawaii, and I got a bright orange shirt and some orange. I remember a green shirt or green shorts. I don't remember, but we're that same kind of thing at that time.
Yeah,
I think that totally works. Dan, you're wrong. You're wrong.
No, I think it could have gotten away with it once, and Octopussy was enough. We had enough of the neon. But anyway.
Yeah, but we didn't have this 007 unzip like that.
No, not exactly, no. So that was a new, exciting event. Okay. All right. I think that's it. We've taken this apart. We have seen Bond survive still another pre-title sequence, and he is now ready for his mission. So, hey, that's a wrap. This has been Dan Silvestri,
Tom Pizzato,
and Vicky Hodges
of SpyMovieNavigator.com and our show, Cracking the Code of Spy Movies. If you like our show, please share info about it on your social media and subscribe to our show. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, too. Send us your comments, and we may include them in an upcoming episode. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it.